Commander Jake Morrison stood in the communication room of the starship Aurora's Edge, staring at the bright blue screen in front of him. The ship was floating in the cold darkness of space, far from Earth. Jake had been traveling between stars for 3 years now, looking for new planets where humans could live. The message on his screen came from Earth's Central Banking Authority. Jake found this strange because he was a soldier and explorer, not a banker. Why would they send him anything about money? He opened the file and started reading. The message was about financial records from the year 2024. Jake scratched his head. That was over 60 years ago. Why did this matter now? As he read more, one name kept appearing over and over again. Keanu Reeves. Jake knew that name. Everyone did. Keanu Reeves had been a famous actor back on Earth. He made movies about fighting in a computer world and stopping bullets with his mind. But something weird had happened in 2025. Keanu just disappeared. No one knew where he went. Some people said he died. Others thought he went crazy and hid somewhere, but these bank records told a different story. They showed that Keanu had been moving huge amounts of money, not just a few $1,000s, millions and millions of dollars. The records showed payments to space companies, research labs, and mining operations. All of it was connected to humanity's first attempts to travel to other planets. Jake felt his heart beat faster as he read. The total amount was incredible, 847 million credits. That was enough money to build entire cities in space. And all of it had been given away secretly, with no one knowing where it came from. But the most shocking part was at the end of the message. There was a current location listed for Keanu Reeves. He was alive. He was living on Zion 7, one of the moon's mining stations, but he was not living as Keanu Reeves. He was using the name Neo Carter, and he worked as a maintenance man fixing broken machines. Jake could not believe it. The most famous actor in the world was now a simple worker on a moon base, and no one knew who he really was. Jake called his pilot, Danny Walsh. "Danny, set course for Zion 7. We need to make a stop." "Zion 7? Danny asked through the ship's communication system. "That old mining station? What for, Commander?" "We might have found someone very interesting," Jake said. The trip to Zion 7 took 2 days. As they got closer, Jake could see the mining station through the ship's windows. It looked like a small metal city stuck to the surface of the moon. Giant machines dug into the ground, pulling out valuable metals and rare materials that Earth needed. Jake had been to Zion 7 before. It was not a pleasant place. The air smelled like metal and oil. The workers lived in small rooms and worked long hours. The station's boss, Brett Collins, was known for being mean to his workers. He treated them like they were not important. When Jake's ship landed, Brett Collins was waiting for them at the dock. Brett was a big man with an ugly face and a loud voice. He wore expensive clothes that looked out of place on the dirty mining station. "Commander Morrison," Brett shouted as Jake walked off his ship. "What brings you to my little piece of the moon?" "Just a routine check," Jake lied. "How are your workers doing?" Brett laughed in a mean way. "Oh, they're fine. Most of them anyway. I've got this one guy, calls himself Neo Carter. Dumbest worker I've ever seen. Can barely fix a simple pipe without breaking something else. I keep him around because he works for almost nothing." Jake felt excited but tried not to show it. "Neo Carter? Where is he now?" "Probably in the maintenance tunnels, trying to fix something he broke yesterday," Brett said. "You want to meet him? He's good for a laugh. Guy looks like he never had a decent meal in his life. Probably can't even afford new clothes. I bet he's got maybe $50 to his name." Jake followed Brett through the station's narrow hallways. The walls were made of gray metal and bright lights hung from the ceiling. Workers in dirty uniforms walked past them, looking tired and sad. They found Neo Carter in a small room full of pipes and wires. He was lying on his back under a large machine, holding a wrench. All Jake could see were his legs sticking out. "Carter!" Brett yelled. "Get out here. We've got a visitor." Neo slid out from under the machine. When Jake saw his face, he almost gasped. It was definitely Keanu Reeves, but he looked very different. His hair was gray and messy. His face had lines and scars. His clothes were old and had holes in them. But his eyes were the same. They were calm and intelligent, just like in his old movies. Neo looked at Jake and nodded politely. "Hello, Commander. Is there something wrong with this station?" Brett laughed. Loudly. "Wrong? Everything's wrong when this guy touches it. Carter here couldn't fix a broken light bulb without flooding the whole station." Jake watched Neo's face carefully. The man did not look angry or upset, even though Brett was being very rude. Neo just smiled a little and went back to his work. "How long have you been working here, Neo?" Jake asked. "About 15 years, sir," Neo answered without looking up from his machine. 15 years of causing me headaches," Brett added. "I don't know why I keep him. Probably feel sorry for him. Guy's got nothing. Lives in the smallest room on the station. Eats the cheapest food. Never goes anywhere or does anything fun." Jake felt angry at how Brett was treating Neo, but he kept his feelings hidden. He needed to know more before he did anything. "Neo," Jake said carefully, "have you ever thought about doing other work? Maybe something that pays better?" Neo stopped working and looked at Jake with those calm eyes. For just a moment, Jake thought he saw something deeper there. Something that suggested Neo was much more than he appeared to be. "I like fixing things, Commander," Neo said simply. "It makes me feel useful." Brett rolled his eyes. "Useful. That's a good one. Come on, Commander. Let me show you the real workers, the ones who actually know what they're doing." As they walked away, Jake looked back at Neo. The man had gone back to his work, but Jake could swear he saw Neo watching them in the reflection of a metal pipe. Jake spent the rest of the day touring the station, but his mind kept going back to Neo Carter. Here was a man who had once been the biggest movie star in the world. A man who had secretly given away almost $1 billion to help humanity reach the stars. And now he was fixing broken machines on a moon base while his boss treated him like garbage. The question was, why? Why would someone with that much money and that much power choose to live like this? And what was he really doing on Zion 7? Jake had a feeling he was about to find out something that would change everything. 3 days after Commander Jake Morrison's visit to Zion 7, another ship arrived at the mining station. This one carried Dr. Lisa Bennett, Earth's best scientist who studied old alien things. Her ship was smaller than Jake's but filled with strange equipment and computers. Lisa had come to Zion 7 because her instruments on Earth had detected weird energy signals coming from the moon. The signals were not natural. They seemed to be made by some kind of technology, but not human technology. Something much older and more advanced. Brett Collins met Lisa at the landing dock, just like he had met Jake, but this time Brett was trying to be nice because he knew Lisa was important and famous. "Dr. Bennett," Brett said with a fake smile. "Welcome to Zion 7. I heard you're here about some energy readings. I'm sure it's nothing serious. Probably just our mining equipment acting up." Lisa looked around the mining station with sharp, intelligent eyes. She carried a small device that beeped and clicked as it measured energy levels. "Mr. Collins, these readings are unlike anything we've seen before. They're coming from deep underground, far below your mining operations." "Well, whatever it is, my boys can handle it," Brett said proudly. "We've got the best workers in the solar system here." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Really? I'd like to meet some of them." Brett's smile got bigger. "Of course. Let me introduce you to my team leaders first. They're the smart ones who keep this place running." For the next hour, Brett showed Lisa around the station. He introduced her to the supervisors and engineers, all of whom wore clean uniforms and spoke in professional voices. But Lisa noticed something. When she asked them technical questions about the station's equipment, many of them gave vague answers or looked confused. "What about your maintenance staff?" Lisa asked. "The people who actually work with the machinery every day?" Brett's smile disappeared. "Oh, them. They're just simple workers. Nothing special about them. Most of them barely know how to read." Just then, there was a loud alarm sound throughout the station. Red lights started flashing, and a voice came over the speakers. "Emergency in Section 7. Power failure in the main air recycling system." Brett's face went pale. "Not again. This is the third time this month." He started shouting orders into his radio, but Lisa could tell he was panicking. "Who usually fixes these problems?" Lisa asked. "Well, we have a maintenance guy," Brett said nervously. "But he's not very good. Takes him forever to figure anything out." The alarm kept blaring. Lisa watched as several of the supervisors ran around looking worried, but none of them seemed to know what to do. After 10 minutes, someone's voice came over the radio. "Mr. Collins, this is Neo in Section 7. I've found the problem. Give me another few minutes and I'll have it fixed." Brett grabbed his radio angrily. "Carter, you better not make this worse. We've got important visitors here." "Understood, sir," came Neo's calm voice. "Almost done." 5 minutes later, the alarms stopped. The red lights went back to normal white lights. The voice on the speakers announced, "All systems normal. Emergency resolved." Lisa was impressed. This Neo person fixed a major system failure in 15 minutes. Brett looked embarrassed. He got lucky. Probably just turned something off and back on again. But Lisa was curious now. "I'd like to meet him." Brett clearly did not want this to happen, but he could not refuse a famous scientist. They walked through the station's corridors until they found Neo Carter in Section 7. He was closing a large panel on the wall and putting his tools away. When Lisa saw Neo, she thought he looked familiar, but she could not place where she might have seen him before. He was a thin man with gray hair and old clothes, but there was something about his face that seemed important. "Neo," Brett said in a mean voice. "This is Dr. Bennett. She's here from Earth to study some energy readings." "Dr. Bennett, this is Neo Carter, our maintenance worker." Neo nodded politely to Lisa. "Nice to meet you, Dr. Bennett. I hope your research goes well." Lisa studied Neo's face carefully. "What exactly did you fix just now?" "The main air recycling system had a power surge," Neo explained. "It caused a feedback loop in the primary circulation pumps. I had to reroute the power through the backup systems and recalibrate the pressure sensors." Lisa blinked in surprise. That was a very technical explanation from someone Brett had described as barely able to read. "That sounds like advanced engineering knowledge," Neo shrugged. "You pick things up after 15 years of fixing stuff." Brett laughed rudely. "Don't let him fool you, Doctor. He probably memorized that speech from a manual somewhere. Neo here is about as smart as a broken wrench." Lisa noticed that Neo did not react to Brett's insult. He just continued putting his tools away calmly. But she also noticed something else. Neo's toolbox was very organized, and some of the tools looked more advanced than what she would expect a simple maintenance worker to have. "Neo," Lisa said, "have you ever worked with alien technology?" Neo paused for just a moment before answering. "No, ma'am. Why do you ask?" "I'm detecting some unusual energy signatures from deep underground. They don't match any known human technology. I was wondering if anyone here had ever encountered anything strange." "Strange how?" Neo asked. Brett interrupted loudly. "There's nothing strange here except how long it takes Carter to do simple jobs. Doctor, let me show you to the areas where your readings are strongest." But Lisa was not ready to leave yet. Something about Neo interested her. "Neo, what do you think could cause energy readings that don't match human technology?" Neo thought for a moment. Well, if I had to guess, I'd say either it's natural energy from the moon's core, or maybe something was buried here a long time ago, before humans arrived. Something buried? Like what? Could be anything, Neo said. The universe is a big place. Lots of civilizations have come and gone. Maybe one of them left something behind. Lisa felt excited. This maintenance worker was talking about alien civilizations like it was a normal topic. Most people would have laughed at the idea or been scared by it. Brett was getting impatient. Carter, don't bother the doctor with your silly theories. Dr. Bennett, I really should show you the mining areas now. As they walked away, Lisa kept thinking about Neo. There was something about him that did not add up. His technical knowledge was too advanced for a simple maintenance worker. His tools were too sophisticated. And he talked about alien civilizations like he had actually thought about them before. That evening, Lisa was alone in her temporary quarters on the station. She had set up her equipment and was studying the energy readings from underground. The signals were definitely artificial, and they were very old. Possibly thousands of years old, but Lisa could not stop thinking about Neo Carter. She decided to do some research. Using her computer, Lisa searched for information about Neo Carter. There was very little. Just basic employment records showing he had worked on Zion 7 for 15 years. Before that, there was nothing. It was like he had appeared out of nowhere in 2072. Lisa found this strange. Everyone had records, birth certificates, school records, previous jobs. But Neo Carter seemed to have no past before Zion-7. Then, Lisa had an idea. She had access to old databases through her research position. She started searching for missing persons from around 2025. She looked at news, articles about famous people who had disappeared. That's when she found it. The news articles about Keanu Reeves, the famous actor who had vanished in 2025. Lisa looked at old photos of Keanu and compared them to her memory of Neo Carter. The face was older, more weathered, but the bone structure was the same. The eyes were definitely the same. Lisa's heart started beating fast. If Neo Carter was really Keanu Reeves, then why was he pretending to be a maintenance worker? And why was he living like a poor person when he had been one of the richest actors in the world? Lisa decided to investigate further. She used her security clearance to access financial databases. What she found made her gasp. There were records of massive financial transactions from 2024 and 2025. Hundreds of millions of dollars had been moved from accounts connected to Keanu Reeves. The money had gone to space research companies, mining operations, and colonization projects. All the things that had helped humanity begin to spread across the solar system. Lisa realized she had discovered something incredible. The humble maintenance worker that Brett Collins mocked and insulted every day was actually one of the people who had made human space travel possible. Neo Carter was not poor at all. He was probably one of the richest people who had ever lived, but he was choosing to live like this. Choosing to be treated badly. Choosing to hide his true identity. The question was, why? Lisa looked out the window of her quarters, at the surface of the moon. Somewhere down there, buried in the rock, was alien technology sending out energy signals. And somewhere in this station was a man who had given away a fortune to help humanity reach the stars. Lisa had a feeling these two mysteries were connected somehow, and she was determined to find out how. Dr. Lisa Bennett could not sleep that night. She kept thinking about Neo Carter and the strange energy readings from deep underground. At 3 in the morning, she decided to go back to her equipment and take another look at the data, the energy. Signals were getting stronger, much stronger than when she had first arrived. It was like something underground was waking up. Lisa put on her coat and decided to go outside the station to get better readings with her portable scanner. The surface of the moon was cold and dark. Earth hung in the black sky like a blue marble. Lisa walked carefully in her spacesuit, following the signals with her scanner. The beeping got faster and louder as she moved away from the mining station, about half a mile from Zion 7. Lisa found what she was looking for. There was a small crater in the ground, and at the bottom of the crater was something that made her heart stop. It was a metal structure, partially buried in the moon's surface. The metal was not like anything humans had ever made. It was black and smooth, and it seemed to glow with a faint blue light. Strange symbols were carved into its surface. Lisa's scanner was going crazy. The energy readings were off the charts. She took pictures and recorded everything, then hurried back to the station. When she got back inside, she found Neo Carter in the hallway. He was carrying a toolbox and seemed to be heading somewhere. "Neo," Lisa said, still breathing hard from excitement. "I found something amazing." Neo stopped and looked at her carefully. "What did you find, Dr. Bennett?" "There's an alien structure buried near the station. It's giving off massive energy readings. I think it's some kind of machine or computer." Neo was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Show me." Lisa was surprised. Most people would have been shocked or scared by news of alien technology. But Neo seemed almost like he had been expecting this. They went back outside together. When Neo saw the buried structure, he stared at it for a long time without saying anything. "Have you ever seen anything like this before?" Lisa asked. "Not exactly like this," Neo said carefully. "But I've seen similar symbols." "Where?" Neo hesitated. "In old books. Ancient texts about civilizations that came before us." Lisa was amazed. "You study ancient civilizations?" "It's a hobby," Neo said simply. They spent the next hour examining the structure. Neo seemed to understand the symbols better than Lisa expected. He pointed to different markings and explained what he thought they meant. "This symbol here," Neo said, pointing to a complex design. "I think it means warning or danger, and this one might mean time or when. So it's a warning about something that will happen at a certain time?" "Maybe," Neo said. "But we need to be careful. If this is really alien technology, we don't know what it might do." The next morning, Lisa presented her findings to Brett Collins. She showed him the pictures and energy readings from the buried structure. Brett looked at the images and laughed. "So what? It's probably just some old piece of space junk that crashed here a million years ago. Nothing to worry about." "Mr. Collins, this is clearly advanced technology. We need to contact Earth immediately and get a proper research team here." "Research team?" Brett said angrily. "I'm not having a bunch of scientists crawling all over my mining operation. This is a business, not a museum." Lisa was getting frustrated. This could be the most important discovery in human history. "Or it could be nothing," Brett said. "Either way, I'm not shutting down my mine for some old rocks." But Lisa had already sent her report to Earth. Within hours, she received a reply that made her very excited. A military research team was being sent to Zion 7, led by Captain Ryan Stone of the Earth Defense Force. Captain Stone arrived 2 days later with a ship full of soldiers and scientists. He was a tall man with short hair and serious eyes. He had fought in several wars and was known for being very smart and very tough. "Dr. Bennett," Captain Stone said after reviewing her report, "this is potentially very dangerous. We need to understand what this technology is and what it's designed to do." They went to the crater where the alien structure was buried. Captain Stone brought powerful digging equipment and energy scanners. As they dug deeper, they uncovered more of the structure. It was much larger than they had first thought. The structure was shaped like a pyramid, but upside down. The point was buried deep in the moon's surface, and the wide part was near the top. The symbols covered the entire surface, and they seemed to tell a story. Neo had been helping with the dig, even though Brett kept complaining about losing his maintenance worker. Neo seemed to understand the symbols better than anyone else, including the military experts. "Captain Stone," Neo said, studying a section of symbols near the top of the structure. "I think this is telling us about a race called the Zephyrians." "The Zephyrians?" Captain Stone asked. "According to these symbols, they were a warrior race that traveled from star to star, destroying civilizations. They would arrive at a planet, study it for weaknesses, then attack and destroy everything." Lisa felt cold despite her spacesuit's heater. How many civilizations did they destroy? Neo continued reading the symbols. "It's hard to tell exactly, but hundreds, maybe thousands. They've been doing this for millions of years." Captain Stone looked grim. "Are they still out there?" Neo found more symbols lower on the structure. As he read them, his face went pale. "Captain, I think this is a warning system. The race that built this was trying to warn others about the Zephyrians." "What kind of warning?" Neo's voice was quiet when he answered. "The Zephyrians are coming here. To Earth, and according to these calculations." Neo paused and double-checked. "The symbols, they'll be here in less than 6 months." Everyone was silent for a moment. The only sound was the hum of their equipment and the distant noise of the mining station. Captain Stone was the first to speak. "Are you sure about this translation?" "I'm sure about what the symbols say," Neo replied. "But I could be wrong about what they mean." Lisa was studying her scanner readings. "Captain, the energy output from this structure has increased by 300% since we started digging. It's like our presence here has activated something." Suddenly, the symbols on the alien structure began to glow brighter. The blue light got stronger and stronger until it was almost too bright to look at. Then, without warning, images appeared in the air above the structure. They were like movies, but made of light. The images showed space battles between huge fleets of ships. They showed planets being destroyed by massive weapons. They showed the Zephyrians, tall gray beings with multiple arms and glowing red eyes. "It's a holographic record," Lisa whispered. The images showed the Zephyrians' pattern of attack. First, they would send scout ships to study a target planet. Then they would arrive with their main fleet and demand surrender. If the planet refused, they would destroy everything. The final images showed Earth, the solar system, the moon, and a countdown in alien numbers that everyone somehow understood. 167 days. That's how long humanity had before the Zephyrians arrived. Captain Stone was already talking into his radio, calling for emergency contact with Earth's government. Lisa was recording everything, trying to understand the alien technology. But Neo was looking at something else. He had found a section of symbols that was different from the rest. These symbols were not about the Zephyrians. They were about something else. "Captain," Neo said quietly, "there's more. The beings who built this warning system, they left instructions. Plans for defending against the Zephyrians." "What kind of plans?" Neo read the symbols carefully. "They're showing us how to build weapons, ships, defense systems, everything we need to fight back." Captain Stone looked hopeful for the first time since they had made the discovery. "Can we understand their technology?" "Some of it," Neo said. "But Captain, there's something else. The symbols say that a successful defense requires more than just weapons. It requires unity. All of a planet's resources working together toward one goal." Lisa realized what this meant. Humanity would need to stop all wars, combine all our technology and resources, and work as one species to survive. "That's impossible," Captain Stone said. "Earth has dozens of different countries, all with their own armies and governments. We've never been able to agree on anything." Neo was still reading the symbols. "Actually, Captain, there might be a way." The symbols mention something about preparation, about resources being gathered in secret, ready for this day. "What kind of resources?" Neo looked at Captain Stone with those calm, intelligent eyes. "The kind that would require someone with massive wealth and decades of planning to put in place." "Lisa, Suddenly understood. She looked at Neo with new respect. You've been preparing for this, haven't you? That's why you've been hiding here. That's why you gave away your fortune. Neo was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I've been having dreams about the Zephyrians for 20 years. I didn't know if they were real or just nightmares. But I decided it was better to be prepared and wrong than unprepared and right. Captain Stone stared at Neo. Who are you really? Neo sighed. My name is Keanu Reeves. And I think it's time to show you what I've been building. Captain Ryan Stone stared at Neo in complete shock. You're Keanu Reeves? The actor who disappeared 20 years ago? Neo nodded quietly. I didn't disappear. I just stopped being famous so I could work on more important things. Dr. Lisa Bennett felt her heart racing. The dreams you mentioned about the Zephyrians. How long have you been having them? Since 2024, Neo said. At first, I thought they were just nightmares from making too many action movies, but they kept getting more detailed, more real. I started seeing their ships, their weapons, their tactics. Eventually, I realized these weren't dreams at all. They were visions. Captain Stone was having trouble believing what he was hearing. So you gave up your career as a movie star to prepare for an alien invasion based on dreams? Not just dreams, Neo said. I started researching ancient texts, studying archaeological sites, looking for any evidence of previous alien contact. I found enough to convince me that the threat was real. Brett Collins, who had been listening to the conversation, finally spoke up. This is crazy. You're telling me that my maintenance worker is some kind of secret millionaire who's been planning for a space war? Not millionaire, Neo said quietly. Billionaire. And yes, I've been planning for this war for 20 years. He pulled out a small device that looked like a communication radio. I think it's time to show you what I've built. Neo pressed several buttons on the device. Suddenly, the device projected a holographic map of the solar system. But this wasn't a normal map. It showed dozens of locations marked with glowing dots. What are those? Lisa asked. My defense network, Neo said. Hidden bases, weapon platforms, research facilities, and manufacturing centers. All built with the money I made from my movies and the investments I made afterward. Captain Stone studied the map carefully. These locations. Some of them are on asteroids, some are on the far side of the moon. How did you build all this without anyone knowing? Very carefully, Neo said. I used shell companies, hired independent contractors, and spread the work across many different projects. No one person knew about the complete network except me. Neo touched one of the glowing dots on the map. The image zoomed in to show a massive structure built inside a large asteroid. This is Base Alpha. It's a weapons manufacturing facility. I've been producing advanced plasma cannons and energy shields there for 15 years. He touched another dot. Base Beta. This one is a research center where I've been studying alien technology and developing new defense systems. Lisa was amazed. How did you get alien technology to study? I bought it, Neo said simply. You'd be surprised how much. Alien artifacts end up in private collections. Rich people have been buying pieces of crashed UFOs for decades. I just bought more than anyone else. Captain Stone was looking at a dot near Jupiter. What's this one? Neo smiled for the first time since revealing his identity. That's my crown jewel. Base Gamma. It's a battle station built inside a captured asteroid. Fully armed and capable of housing 50,000 people. Brett Collins was shaking his head in disbelief. This is impossible. You're a maintenance worker. You live in the smallest room on the station. You eat cheap food. I live simply because I don't need much, Neo said. Every dollar I didn't spend on luxury was a dollar I could spend on saving humanity. Neo pressed more buttons on his device. Suddenly, communication signals started coming through. Voices of people from different locations around the solar system. Base Alpha reporting. All systems operational. Weapon production at 90% capacity. Base beta here. Research teams are ready. We've completed the new shield technology. Based on the alien warning system data. Base Gamma standing by. Battle station is fully armed and ready for orders. Captain Stone was stunned. How many people are working for you? About 200,000, Neo said. Engineers, scientists, pilots, soldiers. All people who believed in the mission and were willing to work in secret. Lisa had a question. How did you recruit so many people without anyone finding out? I was very careful about who I approached, Neo said. I looked for people who had lost family members in wars, or scientists who were frustrated with government bureaucracy, or military personnel who were tired of fighting small conflicts when they could be preparing for a real threat. Neo touched his device again, and two more people appeared as holograms. One was a woman in an engineer's uniform, and the other was a man in a pilot's jacket. Captain Stone, Dr. Bennett. I'd like you to meet Engineer Paul Martinez and Pilot Casey Thompson. They've been helping me coordinate the defense network. Paul Martinez saluted Captain Stone. Sir, we've been waiting for this day for a long time. Our manufacturing facilities are ready to mass-produce weapons and ships. Casey Thompson added, we have a fleet of 300 advanced fighters ready for combat, plus the battle station. It's not enough to match the Zephyrians ship for ship, but it's a start. Captain Stone was starting to understand the scope of what Neo had built. How did you know what kind of weapons to build? The alien warning system wasn't the first piece of Zephyrian technology I found, Neo said. Over the years, I've acquired fragments of their ships, pieces of their weapons, even some of their computer systems. My research teams have been studying them and developing countermeasures. Neo showed them more locations on his map. I have bases on Mars, Europa, Titan, and 12 different asteroids. Each one specializes in different aspects of the defense plan. Lisa was looking at the locations near Earth. What about Earth itself? Do you have facilities there? Several, Neo said. But they're well hidden. Underground bunkers, underwater bases, facilities built into mountains. I've been very careful to keep them secret from Earth's governments. Captain Stone frowned. Why keep them secret from Earth? Shouldn't the military know about this? I tried to contact Earth's governments years ago, Neo said. They thought I was crazy. When I showed them evidence of alien technology, they either didn't believe me or wanted to take control of everything for themselves. I realized that if I wanted to save humanity, I would have to do it myself. Brett Collins was still in shock. But you're just one person. How could you coordinate all of this? I haven't been alone, Neo said. I've had help from some very smart people, and I've been learning for 20 years. When you know an alien invasion is coming, you get very good at planning and organizing. Neo pressed another button on his device. The holographic map changed to show the expected arrival path of the Zephyrian fleet. According to the alien warning system, the Zephyrians will arrive at the edge of our solar system in 164 days. They'll spend several days studying our defenses before attacking. That gives us time to get into position. Captain Stone studied the invasion route. What's your battle plan? The Zephyrians expect to find a primitive civilization with basic technology, Neo said. They're not expecting to face coordinated resistance from hidden bases throughout the solar system. My plan is to let them get close to Earth, then hit them from all sides at once. Paul Martinez's hologram spoke up. We've been analyzing their tactics based on the warning system data. The Zephyrians rely on overwhelming firepower and intimidation. They're not used to fighting enemies who can match their technology. Casey Thompson added, our fighters are designed to be faster and more maneuverable than their ships. We can't match their numbers, but we can outfly them. Neo looked at Captain Stone seriously. Captain, I need Earth's military to work with me. I can provide the advanced technology in hidden bases, but I need Earth's armies to help coordinate the defense. Captain Stone was quiet for a moment, thinking. This is beyond my authority. I need to contact Earth's government immediately. I understand, Neo said. But Captain, there's something else you need to know. The Zephyrians don't just destroy civilizations, they study them first. They learn about a planet's weaknesses, its political divisions, its military capabilities. If Earth's governments start fighting over my technology instead of working together, the Zephyrians will use that against us. Lisa realized what Neo was saying. You're asking Earth to unite as one planet to fight this threat. I'm asking humanity to survive, Neo said. The Zephyrians have destroyed thousands of civilizations. They've never been defeated. But they've also never faced a species that was prepared for them. Neo looked at each of them in turn. I've spent 20 years and nearly $1 billion building this defense network. I've lived in hiding, pretending to be a simple maintenance worker, all to prepare for this moment. But I can't save humanity alone. I need help. Captain Stone made his decision. I'll contact Earth Command immediately. We'll need to verify everything. You've told us, but if it's true... double quotes, he paused. If it's true, then you might be humanity's best hope for survival. Brett Collins was looking at Neo with new respect and shame. I'm sorry. I had no idea who you really were. All those times I insulted you, called you worthless. Neo smiled gently. It's okay, Brett. I chose to live this way. I needed to stay hidden until the time was right. And besides, fixing broken machines taught me skills I never learned as an actor, skills that might help save the world. Neo looked up at the stars through the dome of the lunar station. The Zephyrians are coming. But for the first time in millions of years, they're going to face a civilization that's... Captain Ryan Stone's message to Earth caused panic in every government building on the planet. Within hours, emergency meetings were happening in Washington, London, Moscow, Beijing, and every other major capital. The news was almost too incredible to believe, but the evidence was undeniable. Admiral Karen Hughes arrived at Zion 7 3 days later with a fleet of Earth's most advanced warships. She was a tough woman with gray hair and sharp eyes who had commanded Earth Space Forces for 10 years. She had fought space pirates and asteroid miners, but never aliens. Mr. Reeves, Admiral Hughes said when she met Neo, Earth's government has reviewed your evidence. We're prepared to work with you, but we need to coordinate our forces. I understand, Admiral, Neo said. But we have a problem. The Zephyrians are arriving sooner than expected. Dr. Lisa Bennett looked up from her monitoring equipment. The alien warning system is showing new data. The Zephyrian scout ships are already at the edge of our solar system. Admiral Hughes felt her stomach drop. How much time do we have? Maybe 2 weeks before the main fleet arrives, Neo said. The good news is that my defense network is ready. The bad news is that Earth's forces aren't in position yet. Neo activated his holographic map again. This time it showed not just his hidden bases but also Earth's military positions. Red dots indicated the approaching Zephyrian ships. Admiral, I need your ships to coordinate with my battle station, Neo said. But first, we need to get everyone working together. The next week was the busiest in human history. Ships from every Earth nation traveled to Neo's hidden bases. Scientists worked around the clock to understand the alien technology. Soldiers trained with new weapons that Neo's people had been building for years. Engineer Paul Martinez was at Base Alpha, the asteroid manufacturing facility, working with Earth's best engineers. These plasma cannons are 50 times more powerful than anything Earth has built, he explained to a group of amazed scientists. The energy shields can protect an entire city. Pilot Casey Thompson was training Earth's best pilots at Base Gamma, the battle station hidden in the asteroid belt. Your Earth fighters are good, she told the pilots. But these ships are different. They respond to your thoughts as much as your hands. You have to feel the ship, not just fly it. Meanwhile, Neo was at Base Beta, the research center, working with Dr. Tony Clark, Earth's smartest physicist. They were studying the alien warning system data and preparing final defensive strategies. The Zephyrians always follow the same pattern, Dr. Clark said, reading the alien information. They send scouts first, then demand surrender, then attack if refused. That's their weakness, Neo said. They're so confident in their pattern that they don't adapt when something unexpected happens. On Earth, governments that had been enemies for decades were working together for the first time. Russia shared its advanced rocket technology. China provided manufacturing facilities. America contributed its space pilots and commanders. Every nation on Earth was united in one goal, survival. But then, 12 days before the expected arrival of the main Zephyrian fleet, everything changed. Lisa's monitoring equipment started screaming with alarms. The energy readings from space were massive. Much more massive than expected. Neo. Lisa called through the communication system. The main fleet isn't 2 weeks away. They're here. They just jumped into our solar system. Neo's calm voice came. Back immediately. All bases, this is Neo. Execute emergency positions now. The Zephyrians have arrived early. Throughout the solar system, Neo's hidden bases came to life. Weapon platforms that had been disguised as asteroids revealed themselves. Ships that had been hiding behind moons launched into space. The defense network that had taken 20 years to build was finally activated. Admiral Hughes was commanding Earth's fleet from her flagship. All Earth ships coordinate with Neo's forces. This is what we've been preparing for. The Zephyrian fleet was enormous. Hundreds of black ships shaped like daggers filled the space near Jupiter. Each ship was miles long and bristled with weapons that glowed red like evil eyes. The lead Zephyrian ship sent a message to Earth. The voice was cold and mechanical. Primitive species of the third planet. Your civilization is scheduled for termination. Surrender now and your death will be quick. Neo was aboard his battle station Sanctuary, commanding the defense. Earth Command, this is Neo. Send them our reply. Admiral Hughes smiled grimly and opened a channel to the Zephyrian fleet. This is Admiral Karen Hughes of Earth. Our reply is simple, come and try. The battle began immediately. The Zephyrians expected to face primitive Earth ships with basic weapons. Instead, they found themselves fighting a coordinated defense involving advanced technology they had never seen before. Neo's plasma cannons fired beams of pure energy that cut through Zephyrian shields like paper. His fighters, piloted by Earth's best pilots using Neo's advanced technology, danced around the alien ships faster than the Zephyrians could track. Their shields are down, Casey Thompson reported from her fighter. The plasma cannons are working. But the Zephyrians had numbers on their side. For every alien ship that was destroyed, 2 more took its place. The battle was fierce and desperate. Neo was personally piloting a maintenance ship using his 20 years of experience fixing machines to repair damaged defense systems, while the battle raged around him. Base Alpha, I need more plasma cannons online. Base Beta, get those shield generators working. Dr. Tony Clark was working frantically at the research center. Neo, I found something in the alien data. The Zephyrians have a weakness in their communication system. If we can disrupt it, their ships won't be able to coordinate. Can you build a device to do that? Neo asked while dodging alien weapons fire. Already working on it, Dr. Clark replied. But I need 15 minutes. You've got them, Neo said. He turned his ship toward the largest Zephyrian vessel, the command ship. All fighters, follow me. We're going to buy Dr. Clark some time. Neo led a desperate attack on the Zephyrian command ship. Earth's pilots followed him, their ships weaving between alien weapons fire. The maintenance skills Neo had learned during his years in hiding served him well as he navigated through the complex machinery of the alien ship, finding weak points that military training alone could never have identified. "Neo, their armor is too thick," one pilot reported. "Our weapons can't penetrate it." Neo studied the alien ship's design with the same careful attention he had used to fix broken machines on Zion 7. "There," he said, pointing to a small opening near the ship's engine. "That's a maintenance access port. If we can get inside there, we can damage their power systems from within." It was incredibly dangerous. The access port was heavily defended and barely large enough for one ship to enter. But Neo had spent 20 years preparing for this moment. "Cover me," Neo said, and flew his small maintenance ship directly at the alien command vessel. Alien weapons fire lit up space around him. Neo's ship was hit multiple times, but he kept flying. His years of practice fixing machines under pressure had taught him to stay calm when everything was falling apart. Neo's ship slipped through the access port and into the alien ship's power core. Using tools he had originally designed for fixing mining equipment, Neo began sabotaging the Zephyrian ship systems. "Dr. Clark, how much more time do you need?" Neo asked while sparks flew around him from damaged alien machinery. "3 more minutes," Dr. Clark replied. Neo's sabotage was working. The command ship's weapons stopped firing. Its shields flickered and failed. But more importantly, the ship's communication system was damaged. Suddenly, the entire Zephyrian fleet began acting confused. Without their command ship coordinating their attacks, the alien ships started running into each other and firing in the wrong directions. "Now, Dr. Clark!" Neo shouted. Dr. Clark activated his communication disruptor. The device sent out a signal that completely scrambled the Zephyrian coordination systems. All across the battlefield, alien ships began spinning out of control, or firing at their own allies. "It's working," Admiral Hughes reported. "The alien fleet is in chaos." Neo's forces pressed their advantage. Plasma cannons fired at confused alien ships. Earth fighters attacked Zephyrian vessels that could no longer defend themselves properly. The battle turned from a desperate defense into a victory for humanity. Within hours, the surviving Zephyrian ships were retreating toward the edge of the solar system. For the first time in millions of years, the Zephyrians had been defeated. Neo's voice came over the communication system, calm as always. "All ships, cease fire. Let them go. They need to tell the rest of their kind that humanity is not an easy target." Admiral Hughes was amazed. "We did it. We actually beat them." Dr. Lisa Bennett was monitoring the retreating alien ships. "They're sending messages to somewhere far away. I think they're reporting their defeat to other Zephyrian fleets." Neo's maintenance ship limped back to Sanctuary Station, damaged but victorious. "Good," he said. "Let them know that humans fight back. Maybe they'll think twice before attacking." Another planet. As the celebration began throughout the solar system, Neo looked out at the stars and smiled. 20 years of preparation, 20 years of living in secret, 20 years of being mocked and insulted had all led to this moment. Humanity had faced its greatest test and survived. And they had done it by working together. 3 months after the defeat of the Zephyrian fleet, the solar system looked very different. Ships from every nation on Earth traveled freely between planets. The hidden bases that Neo had built in secret were now openly working together with Earth's governments. Humanity had become a united species for the first time in its history. Neo sat in his small room on Zion 7, the same room he had lived in for 15 years. He was still wearing his old maintenance worker clothes, still carrying the same toolbox he had used to fix broken machines. Even though the whole universe now knew he was Keanu Reeves, the secret hero who had saved humanity, he had chosen to stay exactly where he was. There was a knock on his door. Neo opened it to find Brett Collins standing in the hallway. But Brett looked very different. His expensive clothes were gone, replaced by a simple work uniform. His mean expression had been replaced by one of respect and shame. "Neo," Brett said quietly, "I wanted to apologize again. For all the years I treated you badly. For all the times I called you worthless. I had no idea. Neo smiled gently. "Brett, you don't need to keep apologizing. You treated me the way you thought a maintenance worker should be treated. That was the point. But why?" Brett asked. "Why did you let me insult you when you could have revealed who you really were at any time?" Neo invited Brett into his small room. They sat on Neo's simple bed, the same bed where the richest man in the solar system had slept for 15 years. "Brett, if I had lived like a rich person, I would have lost touch with ordinary people," Neo explained. "I needed to understand what it felt like to be treated badly, to be ignored, to be considered unimportant. That's how most people live. If I was going to save humanity, I needed to understand humanity." Brett nodded slowly. "Is that why you're staying here? Why you won't accept any of the honors they want to give you?" "Partly," Neo said, "but mainly because the work isn't finished. The Zephyrians were just one threat. There are others out there. Humanity needs to stay united and keep preparing." Dr. Lisa Bennett appeared in the doorway. She had been appointed as the new director of Solar System Defense, coordinating between Earth's governments and Neo's hidden network. "Neo," Lisa said, "the President of Earth wants to meet with you. She's offering you the position of Supreme Commander of Human Defense Forces." Neo shook his head. "I appreciate the offer, but I'm not a politician or a military commander. I'm better at fixing things and building things." "Then what do you want to do?" Lisa asked. Neo picked up his toolbox and stood up. "The same thing I've been doing for 15 years. Keep the lights on. Keep the machines running. Make sure everything works when people need it to work." They walked together through the corridors of Zion 7. The mining station looked the same as always, but now everyone they passed looked at Neo with admiration and gratitude. The miners, the engineers, the maintenance workers all nodded respectfully as he went by. "Neo," one of the miners called out, "the oxygen recycler in Section 4 is making strange noises again. Could you take a look?" "Of course," Neo said, just as he had said thousands of times before. As they walked towards Section 4, Lisa asked, "Don't you want people to know about everything you did? The money you spent, the sacrifices you made?" "People do know," Neo said. "The story is all over the news networks. Everyone in the solar system knows that Keanu Reeves secretly funded humanity's defense and saved the world. But they don't know the details," Lisa pressed. "They don't know that your original fortune came from investing in the first companies that made faster-than-light travel possible. They don't know that you somehow predicted which technologies would be important decades before anyone else." Neo was quiet for a moment as they walked. "Lisa, do you remember what the alien warning system told us? That the Zephyrians had destroyed thousands of civilizations?" "Yes. What do you think happened to all those civilizations? Did they just give up and die, or did they fight back?" Lisa thought about it. "I guess they fought back, but they lost." "Exactly," Neo said. "They fought back, but they fought alone. Each planet tried to defend itself by itself. The Zephyrians had millions of years to perfect their tactics against isolated worlds. They reached Section 4, where the oxygen recycler was indeed making strange humming sounds. Neo opened his toolbox and began examining the machine. "But Earth was different," Neo continued while he worked. "We didn't fight alone. We fought as a united species. And we had something the Zephyrians had never seen before." "What?" Brett asked. "A defense that was built by someone who understood both wealth and poverty, both fame and obscurity, both leadership and service. Neo adjusted something inside the machine, and the strange noises stopped. The Zephyrians expected to find either a primitive world with no defenses, or an advanced world with military defenses. They didn't expect to find a world defended by someone who had learned to think like both a rich person and a poor person. Admiral Karen Hughes arrived at the station that afternoon. She found Neo in the maintenance bay, teaching a group of young engineers how to repair plasma cannon power systems. "Neo," Admiral Hughes said, "I have news from Earth. The other major powers in our galaxy have heard about our victory over the Zephyrians. 3 different alien civilizations want to form alliances with humanity." Neo looked up from the power system he was demonstrating. "What kind of alliances?" "Trade agreements, technology sharing, mutual defense pacts," Admiral Hughes said. "Humanity has gone from being unknown to being one of the most respected powers in the galaxy, all because we defeated an enemy that no one else could defeat." Neo smiled. "That's good news. But make sure the agreements are fair to everyone. We don't want to become bullies just because we're strong." "There's something else," Admiral Hughes said. "Earth's government wants to build a monument to you. A statue in every major city. They want to make today a holiday called Neo Day." Neo laughed. "Admiral, I appreciate the thought, but I don't need statues. If they want to honor me, they can do it by taking care of each other." Captain Ryan Stone arrived that evening with more news. "Neo, our monitoring stations have detected more alien signals. Not Zephyrians, but something else. It looks like word of our victory is spreading throughout the galaxy." "Good signals or bad signals?" Neo asked. Captain Stone said, "Some civilizations want to be our friends. Others seem angry that we defeated the Zephyrians. And some—" Captain Stone paused. "Some seem scared of us." Neo was working on a water purification system while they talked. "Scared? Why would they be scared of us?" "Because we did something that no one else in galactic history has ever done," Captain Stone said. "We defeated the Zephyrians so completely that the surviving ships are telling everyone that humans are not to be attacked under any circumstances." Dr. Tony Clark's voice came through the communication system from Base Beta. "Neo, I've been analyzing the data from the battle. Our victory was more significant than we realized. The Zephyrians didn't just retreat. They declared humans a protected species in their database. They've marked our entire solar system as off-limits to all Zephyrian forces." Neo finished his work on the water purifier and washed his hands. "That's good. Maybe they'll learn to leave other species alone, too." "There's more," Dr. Clark continued. "Other civilizations are asking us to help them defend against the Zephyrians. We could become the protectors of the galaxy." Neo was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "That's a big responsibility. We'll need to be very careful not to become what we defeated." Engineer Paul Martinez's voice joined the conversation from Base Alpha. "Neo, the manufacturing facilities are ready to start producing defense systems for other planets. We could help dozens of civilizations prepare for Zephyrian attacks." "Good," Neo said. "But remember, we help them defend themselves. We don't do the defending for them. Every species needs to learn to stand up for itself." As the day ended, Neo walked to the observation deck of Zion 7. Through the transparent dome, he could see Earth hanging in the black sky like a blue marble. Around Earth, hundreds of ships moved between the planet and the moon, carrying people and supplies for humanity's expanding presence in space. Lisa joined him at the observation window. "Any regrets?" she asked. "About what?" "About giving up your life as a famous actor. About spending 20 years in hiding. About using your entire fortune to save a world that didn't even know it needed saving." Neo thought about it. "Do you know what my favorite movie was?" "Which one?" "The Matrix," Neo said. "In that movie, I played a character who had to choose between a comfortable lie and a difficult truth. He chose the truth, even though it meant giving up everything he thought he wanted. And 20 years ago, I had the same choice. I could keep being a movie star, making millions of dollars pretending to be a hero. Or I could give up the fame and money to actually become a hero in real life. Lisa smiled. And you chose the difficult truth. I chose to serve something bigger than myself, Neo said. And you know what? It was the best decision I ever made. Brett Collins appeared beside them. Neo, the night shift supervisor wants to know if you can look at the heating system in Section 9 tomorrow morning. Of course, Neo said. Same time as always. As they walked back through the station, Neo reflected on everything that had happened. He had started as a famous actor, become a secret billionaire.